been told to invest in your future. You're not sure if you're ready for it, and you don't really know what that means. You save some money. You don't want it to burn a hole in your pocket. Or you've heard about the stock market. You know people make bank there. You want a piece of that action. If any of this sounds familiar, you might be in the right place. I'm Daniel. I'm building a short investing guide to help you navigate the stock market and find out how it can help you build towards your future. But before we get into the stock market, we need to talk about the things to do before you start investing. The boxes you need to check to give yourself the best chance of success. They won't guarantee success, but if you can't check these 4 boxes off, you're setting yourself up for failure. Let's get into them. Think of investing like running a marathon. It's something you want to do for a long time. You've got to build up your endurance to get there, and a huge achievement is just staying in the race. If you're the type of person who loses their breath when they walk from their car to their office, or who struggles to climb the 2 flights of stairs to get up to their apartment, you might not be ready to run a marathon. And if you're the type of person who doesn't make more money than they spend on a month-to-month basis, you may not be ready to invest. You need to take care of your financial present before you can think about your financial future. If you check your bank account and you see everything that goes out of your account, the debits, and compare that to everything that comes into your account, the credits, you should be able to get an idea of whether you're making more than you spend. You should also have a general sense, because if the number in your bank account is going up over time, you're probably in a good place. If it's not, that's where you have to reconsider. You also have to be honest with yourself on a month-to-month basis to not count things that won't recur. Special birthday presents, the stimulus check, whatever, you can't really include that. You also can't use your credit card as a cheat code. We'll talk about debt next, but credit card spending needs to count as regular spending. Take care of your financial fitness, and then we can start thinking about your financial future. The second thing you want to do is pay off any high interest debt. Investing, like life, is all about the alternatives. There's A, there's B, and you have to decide which is the more reasonable path. When I talk about high interest debt, I'm talking about debt that charges you, let's say, more than 8% interest a year. So you're paying not only the debt back, but then 8% interest or more, 10%, 12%, whatever on top of that. We can talk about student loans, a car loan, or a car lease, or your credit card bills. On top of that, you're not getting any current value out of a lot of those things. You don't get value from paying the interest on your credit card. So you want to take care of those. Because if you think about it this way. Let's say you're paying 10% of your credit card bill. You have $100 you can now use to either invest in the market or pay down your bill. If you invest in the market, you have to make at least 10% for that to be a reasonable financial decision as compared to paying down your bill. And really, it should be quite a bit more than 10% because it's not a sure bet. Putting your money in the stock market is risky. You have to really make a lot of money to make it a smarter decision than paying down that debt. And if you haven't invested before, or even if you have, it's really hard to do better than that 10%. It's possible, but it's very uncertain and it's no guarantee. And so cleaning up your balance sheet of this sort of debt is the smarter move before you start investing in the market. There's one important exception to the debt rule that I just mentioned, which is having a mortgage. If you have a mortgage on the house you live in, not your second or third house that you're Airbnb-ing, that's a whole different game. But the house that you're living in with a mortgage, you can still start investing in the market. There are a few reasons that a mortgage is different. It's taking the place of your rental expense, your mortgage payment. So it's reasonable to include in the first step that we talked about. Are you making more than you spend? So I don't think it's the same as a credit card bill, for example. Mortgage rates tend to be lower, even though they're right now at 7 to 7.2% for 30-year mortgages in the US and quite elevated in Europe too, both higher than they've been in a really long time. It's still lower than the other type of debt I was talking about. And because it's secured to your house, it's going to stay lower. You can refinance often, especially in the US, you can refinance your mortgage. So that gives you a chance to re-lower the rate. And if you bought your house sometime before the last 6 months or so, your mortgage rate is probably lower. So that's more acceptable than other types of debt. The last reason is because as you pay down your mortgage and as you own more of your home, it does become its own investment. Housing prices, sort of like the stock market, do tend to rise over time. And while that's no promise and anything can happen, it is reasonable to think that if you pay off more and more of your mortgage and own more and more of your home, you may be able to get your money back or even get more than your money if you're staying in your house for a similar time horizon to what we talked about with the stock market, years and decades. So a mortgage is not in the same category as other types of high interest debt. The biggest advantage that you and I have as individual investors in the stock market is time. And with that, the patience to use it. Time and patience. At the same time, bad things happen in life. We lose a job, we have a health crisis in our family, whatever. If every time something bad happens, we have to take our money out of the stock market, we're taking away our biggest advantage, that time and patience. That's what a rainy day fund then is for. Help you keep your money in the market while still getting through those hard times. Think of something like 3 to 6 months of expenses, though it could be 3 to 6 months of income, or it could even be up to 12 months if you're conservative, that will be available to you in a savings account or somewhere where maybe it's earning interest, but you can take it out at any time. And you can cover any of these unexpected expenses or any of these unexpected hard times without having to sell whatever you have in the stock market. This will allow you to let your money work for you over the long term and really deliver what you're hoping for from your investing. The last thing you need to do before you start investing is build up an initial nest egg. You need money to invest. I don't think you need a crazy amount, but I do think it's good if you can build up a nest egg of $5,000 to $10,000 or the equivalent in your country before you start investing in the market. Brokerage accounts these days are really easy to open, and many brokerage accounts around the world don't charge commissions on trading. So you could start with a lower amount. You're not going to bleed out on fees or whatever. But given the time it takes to start an account, and given that you want to take this seriously and feel like you have real skin in the game and like you can actually achieve your goals by adding to this over time and by it growing, I think it's reasonable to have an initial nest egg. Like I said, $5,000 to $10,000 is a general target. Consider it one last marshmallow test. We talked about time and patience being the key to success in the market. Test yourself one last time. Can I get to this initial level before I start investing? If you do, I think you'll set yourself up for more success and more satisfaction in the market. In this video, I've talked about 4 things that you have to do before you start investing. There's also the 5th thing: you have to want to invest, but we've already established that at the top. So you need to make sure that you're making more than you're spending on a monthly basis. You need to take care of high interest debt. You need to build up that rainy day fund. And you need to build up that initial nest egg to start investing in the market. Where do we go from there? In the next video, which is now available on a Short Investing Guides YouTube channel, I talk about the 3 paths available to you as an investor, the 3 roads that you can go down when you want to begin this journey. Check out that video, follow this channel to get new videos, check out shortinvestingguide.com, and be in touch if I can be of any service. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more.